All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick's Strength and Power. So I wanted to make a video talking about some more powerlifters again and get back more into the strength side of Nick's Strength and Power versus the bodybuilding side. So this video is going to be about a powerlifter named Larry Pacifico. So Larry Pacifico was really one of the first big-time powerlifters that really made a name for himself and really became quote-unquote famous. He was known as Mr. Powerlifting. He was referred to as a powerlifting god by three-time world's strongest man, Bill Kazmaier. So Larry competed primarily in the 1970s, and you guys got to remember, back in the 1970s, powerlifting was not what it is today. You did not have your West Side barbells. You did not have your super training gym. You did not have all these YouTube channels or all these competitions with, 500 entries. Powerlifting was very small and very niche, even though it's still kind of niche today. Back then, it was a lot smaller and a lot more niche. So the guy representing powerlifting as a whole, Larry Pacifico, was just a really, really big name in powerlifting. And it's also worth mentioning that Larry Pacifico was right before the era of Ed Coan. Many of you guys may know who Ed Coan is. He is widely regarded as the greatest powerlifter of all time, and I'll be doing a video about him shortly. But Ed Coan would come along around, I think, 1984, 1985, where he would really start to hit the scene. And Larry Pacifico started out probably 15 years before then. So back in the 1970s, the IPF was pretty much the premier powerlifting organization, and that is where Larry Pacifico mainly starred. So the IPF, Larry Pacifico won 9 straight IPF World Powerlifting Championships from 1971 to 1979. During his career, he set 54 world records, and he also won a total of 102 competitions. So his best lifts were an 832-pound squat, a 592-pound bench press, and a 771-pound deadlift, and his best total being 2,061 pounds. So actually, I know who Larry Pacifico is because he really made a big statement in my hometown, Cincinnati, Ohio, where he made his first 530-pound bench press and a 1,900-pound total. He was pretty famous for that, and I believe he grew up in the Dayton, Ohio area, or at least primarily competed around that area in local meets. So he was kind of a local legend in that regard. A lot of people knew who Larry was. At local gyms had pictures of him, videos of him, whatever the case may be. And it's important to remember, back in the 1970s, they did not have bench shirts yet, so all these bench presses that he did were completely raw. They did have very, very, very primitive squat suits, so it was basically just like thick spandex that basically added nothing to your squat, maybe a couple pounds. So there really was no equipped powerlifting back then. It was basically raw with maybe some good equipment, and there was no such thing as a bench shirt, a squat suit, a deadlift suit, etc., etc. It's also important to note that Larry Pacifico primarily competed as a 198 competitor, so he was in the 198 weight class the majority of these big lifts that he was doing. So currently, Larry Pacifico is still alive. He is 71 years old today. He and his son, I believe his son runs it more so than he does, but they have Pacifico Power Systems, which is a gym located in Dayton, Ohio. So I believe his son, Jimmy Pacifico, has more to do with that than he does. And you guys may know Jimmy Pacifico because he has a decent following on social media. So that is, of course, Larry Pacifico's son. So that is the background on the legendary Larry Pacifico. He kind of paved the way for guys like Ed Coan, who is also an IPF champion, to really become these famous powerlifters that they are today. So Larry Pacifico was one of the really, really early guys in the game. So please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.